Welcome to Learnersmate. In this video we are going to discuss the sources of ancient Odisha history. So, let's learn. The history of Odisha is based on several sources like literary sources, foreign accounts, inscriptions, the coins, material remains, Madalapanji and etc., which helps us in writing the history of Odisha. So, in this video we are only discussing sources like literary sources, foreign accounts and inscriptions. In the second part of this video we going to discussing the coins, material remains and Madalapanji. The literary sources. The literary sources provide a lot of information for the reconstruction of the history of a nation, as literature is considered as the mirror of the society. Numerous literature speaks about the glory of the Odisha in different ways in different periods. The epics. The Mahabharata makes the earliest reference to Kalinga and Odra. The Mahabharata mentions about this land and its sacred river Vaitarani and goddess Viraj. In this epic the sage Lomsa advised the Pandavas to visit river Vaitarani to take a holy dip in the river and to wash away all their sins. On the other hand, the Ramayana refers to Kalinganagara situated to the west of river Gomti and refers to the Gandhamardana and Utkala, associating it with Mekla and Dasrana countries. Further, different Puranas like Vayu Purana, Mastya Purana, Bhagavata, Harivamsa Purana and Vishnu Purana etc. throw light on Kalinga and Utkala and their legendary kings. The Kapila Sanhita and Prachi Mahatmya are also considered as the sources of Odishan history. The Jain sources. The Jain literature contains descriptions of Kalinga and Utkala. In ancient time the people of Odisha were largely the followers of Jainism and Buddhism. So, the Jaina and Buddhist literature narrates about the people of ancient Odisha and its culture. The Avasika Niryukti reveals that Arnatha, who is 18th Jain Tirthankara, had achieved his first goal in the city of Raipura, which was said to be a capital city of Kalinga. Further, it states that how Mahavira, while travelling in Tosi, was tortured by the local people who took him to be a thief, and he was rescued by the timely interference of the Tosli Kshatris. It also refers to the city of Dantapura. The Jain Harivamsa gives a genealogy of the Chedis, describing Abhichandra as the founder of that dynasty in Kosala region. The Buddhist sources. The Buddhist literature also contains descriptions of Kalinga and Utkala. The Buddhist literature also reflects the history of ancient Odisha. The Mahagovinda Suttanta of Digha Nikaya mentions Kalingaratha, Kalinga Rashtra, along with its capital Dantapura. The Upli Sutta of Majjhima Nikaya describes how King Nalikira of Kalinga breathed his last as a consequence of his ill treatment towards some innocent ascetics. Kalinga and Utkala find mention in Kurudharma Jatak, Vissantra Jatak, Kumbhakara Jatak, Kalinga Bodhi Jatak etc. Majjhima Nikaya and Mahabhagga describe the meeting of the two merchants, Tapassu and Bhallika of Utkala, with Lord Buddha. A Buddhist work named Gandavyuha describes that Tosla was a prosperous kingdom in Kalinga in 3rd century AD. The Dipavamsa and Mahavamsa, the two Buddhist works, mentions about the friendly relationship between Kalinga and the Ceylon. The Chulvamsa also depicts about the frequent visit of the king of Kalinga to Ceylon. The literary sources during Ganga period. The Ganga literature are a great source of the time for socio-religious and economic study of Odisha. The Ganga period also saw the development of Sanskrit literature, of which reference can be made of Murari's Anargharghava Natakam, which was staged at Puri during a car festival of Lord Jagannath. Sri Harsha's Nashad Charita Mahakavyam mentions about the cowrie cells as currency prevalent in Odisha during medieval period, chewing off betel by the people of Odisha, and Jagannath's procession from the temple to platform on the full moon day of Jayastha. On the other hand, two treatises on astrology Bhaswati and Satananda Ratnamala and a legal text Satananda Sangraha by Satananda Acharya in the latter half of 11th century AD throw light on socio-economic aspects. Vidyadhara's Alankar work Ekavali, composed in 13th century AD, describes the encounters of the Ganga Emperor Narsinghadeva with the sultans of Delhi and Bengal. Viswanatha Kaviraja, the author of the famous Sahitya Darpana, has written Chandrakala Natka, which hints at the military victories of his patron Gaspati Nisanka Bhanudeva or Bhanu IV, 1407 to 1437 AD, against the Sultan of Bengal. The Chandrakala Natika is a great work during the Ganga rule. Jayadev's Gita Govindam, one of the masterpieces in Vaishnav literature during the Ganga period, was the marvelous work of Jayadev's Gita Govindam. The other important ancient literature. The Arthasastra of Kautilya, composed in 4th century BC, is a standard treatise on polity and statecraft which influenced the political organizations of Kalinga. On the other hand, the Brihat Samhita of Varhamihira, Ashtadhyayi of Panini and Kamasutra of Vatsyana also throw welcome light on the socio-religious and economic condition of ancient Odisha. In the Bodhayana Dharmasastra, the Kalinga has been described as an impure country. The Natyasastra of Bharat depicts Kosala, Tosla and Kalinga as the southern countries. Kalidasa's Raghuvamsam narrates Kalinga and Utkala. Banabhatas's Harshacharita mentions about the king of Kalinga. Harshavardhan's Ratnavali also mentions about Kalinga. Further, the post-Sangam literatures like Silpadikram and Manimikli of 2nd century AD mentions about Kalinga. Among the real historical works relating ancient Odisha, mention may be made of Godvaho by Vakpatiraja. This gives an account of the conquests of Yashovarman of Kannauj. Thus, the ancient literature gives a wide range of knowledge regarding the social, political, economic, religious and cultural life of the people of ancient Odisha. The foreign accounts. The foreign accounts also give a good account of knowledge on ancient Kalinga. The Greek historians like Pliny, Diodorus, Curtius, Plutarch have mentioned about the people of Kalinga. Megasthenes refers to Gangaridam Kalingaram Regia, Gangetic Kalinga region. Pliny divides Kalinga into 3 divisions: Gangarides, Gangetic, Maceo, Middle, and Kalingae, Kalinga. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea by an anonymous Greek sailor also gives some information about Kalinga. Ptolemy, the Greek geographer, 2nd century AD, gives an account of the ports of Kalinga. His indication to a people called Orites living near the Mount Malius is significant because the former is identified with Odras whereas the latter with the Malaya mountain. The most valuable of the foreign accounts is that of the Chinese pilgrim Huan Zhang, who visited Odisha between 638 to 639 AD. His writings have been made available to us as on Yuan Chuang's Travels by T. Wattis, Life of Huan Zhang by Hui, and Records of the Buddhist World. These are invaluable sources of authentic information. Another Chinese traveler Itzing's Records of the Buddhistic religions as practiced in India and the Malay archipelago is also of significant help. Guerini's researches on Ptolemy and Tibetan historian Lama Tarnath's history provide valuable information regarding ancient period of Odisha. The Inscriptions. Inscriptions play a very important part in shaping the history of Odisha. We find the place names, territorial boundaries, religion, administrative units, grant of lands as well as the social and economic condition of the people Odisha. Inscriptions in different forms. We find the inscriptions in different forms and at different places of Odisha. The pictographs project the earliest examples of inscriptions in Odisha. Pictographs are found in several rock shelters in the hills of Sundargarh, Sanbalpur and Kalahandi districts. Some classic examples of such writings are the Vikram Khol, Yogimath and Gudahandi rock art sites. The inscriptions and signs in these shelters have not been properly deciphered. In spite of that, these 8 earliest signs and pictographs had expressed the idea of men who were living in Odisha in prehistoric period. Not only on cave walls, inscriptions in Odisha are largely engraved on copper plates, stone pieces and temple walls. 2 sets of Asokan stone edicts, separate Kalinga edicts found at Dholi and Jogda are the earliest epigraphs in the pre-Christian era which throw light on the administrative arrangement of Asoka in Kalinga. The Hattigumfa inscription of Kharvela is the first of its kind in the entire country that throws light on the achievements of Kharvela for the long 13 years of his rule ceaselessly. Written in Brahmi script and Prakrit language, the inscription has allured the attention of scholars from different parts of the country for its uniqueness. Inscriptions in Sanskrit language. On the other hand, the Sanskrit language was used largely in other inscriptions. The Bhadra inscription of Maharaja Gana, 3rd century AD. The Allahabad inscription of Samudragupta, 4th century AD. The Asnapat stone inscription of Satrubhanja, 4th century AD. The Ningond grant of Mathura ruler Prabhanjanavarman, 5th century AD. The Rithapur grant of Nala ruler Nandivardhana, 5th century AD. The Zirjangi charter of the eastern Ganga ruler Indravar, 1 and the Khariyar charter of Sudevaraja, 1, in 7th century AD, are the inscriptions which throw good deal of early history of this land. Similarly, the inscriptions found from Kanasa, Sumandala, Tekli, Ganjam etc. depict the achievements of Salobhava rulers. The inscriptions of the Bhaumakaras. The inscriptions of the Bhaumakaras provides a great deal of knowledge for the reconstruction of the history of Odisha. It is because the rule of the Bhaumakaras, in 8th to 9th century AD, forms glorious epoch in the annals of Odishan history. The culture copper plate of Shivkardeva 1, the Hindol copper plate of Subkardeva 1, the Terendia copper plate of Subkardeva 1, the Dhenkanal copper plate of Tribhugna Mahadevi 1 and several other Bhauma copper plates throw a good deal of light on the territorial expansion with Bhaumas, their administration, religion, grant of land to others etc. The inscriptions of the Somavamsi rulers. We get the idea of territorial expansion, division of state, administration, religion etc. from the inscriptions of the Somavamsis who ruled from 9th to 11th century AD. The Bonda copper plate of Tivardeva, Adhavra copper plate of Mahanana Raja, the Patna, Kalibhana and other inscriptions of Janmeja. The Katak, Nibinna and Patna copper plates, and the Kalanjar and Sirpur stone inscriptions of Yayati 1 and several other inscriptions give information about the Somavamsi rule. The other important inscriptions. The 400 years glorious rule of the Gangas brought stabilization in Odishan politics. The Korni, Nagari, Draksharam, Chinnabdamu, Simhachalam, Chaudwar and many other inscriptions acquaint the scholars with the achievement of Ganga rulers. Similarly, Lingaraj temple inscription, Velgalani, Srishalam, Velicherla, Simhachalam and other inscriptions explain the achievements of the Gaspati rulers. Thus, inscriptions form a major source of information for the reconstruction of the history of Odisha. In fact, in the majority of cases, these are the only source of information to reconstruct history. Their merit lies in the fact that they are authentic government records issued under the seal and the authority of kings and are not subject to any change through interpolation, exaggeration or distortion. It is rightly said that original contribution on Odisha historiography is not possible without epigraphy. So, this is the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. To get the note of this video, scan the above QR code or check description to get the link. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day.